Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Recha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Nehemiah, the 8th chapter. As you see in the subheading, Ezra reads the law. And, as a recap from what we were reading, in the previous chapter, we went through in the 7th chapter, I believe it was the list of all the individuals, right, the nationalities, really their lineage, to prove who was who after the wall was rebuilt. So this is Nehemiah chapter 8 verse 1. And all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street that was before the water gate. And they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord Yahweh had commanded to Moses, or to Israel. Now what's interesting is, remember that going back to 2nd Ezra 14, Ezra had asked the Lord to put the Spirit upon him to rewrite all that was written, or everything that had happened from the beginning up until this time, because it was the original scrolls and writings which were in the temple were burnt when the Babylonians came and besieged Jerusalem. So this could very well be that the writing that the Lord had Ezra, and I think it was 5 men with him as Ezra speak, and they wrote. And in 2nd Ezra 14 it tells you, right, some of these things the Lord said to publish among the people, and some to only reveal to those that are wise. Anyway, verse 2, and Ezra the priest, and this also shows you that Ezra was a contemporary with Nehemiah. Okay. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and all that could hear with understanding, upon the first day of the 7th month. And he read it therein before the street, and hear with understanding, right, going into those that were old enough to understand what's actually going on here, what they're hearing, because they would still need the Levites, right, and the priests and the scribes to break down what the things in the law actually mean. Like today when we go out and teach and we read the scriptures, and then we break it down to give the sense of what's going on, okay, in here, or in that book that we're reading. Verse 3, and he read therein before the street that was before the water gate, from the morning until midday, before the men and the women, and those that could understand. And the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law. So everybody was there, they were gathered, they were ready, they were listening. And Ezra the scribe stood upon a pulpit of wood, which is like an elevated, standing, right, a structure that was made for this kind of situation, as it says, which they had made for the purpose. So he would be on a higher level, and that way the people could all see him. And beside him stood Mattithiah and Shema and Anaiah and Urijah and Hilkiah and Maaseiah on his right hand, and on his left hand Pedaiah and Mishael and Milkiah and Hashum and Hashbaddanah, Zechariah and Meshullam. And Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people. And when he opened it, all the people stood up. And Ezra blessed the Lord Yahweh, the great God. And all the people answered, Amen, Amen, with lifting up their hands, and they bowed their heads and worshipped the Lord Yahweh with their faces to the ground. Also Jeshua and Bani and Sherebiah, Jamin, Akub, Shebathiah, Hodijah, Maaseiah, Kelita, Azariah, Jozabad, Hanan, Pelaiah, and the Levites caused the people to understand the law, and the people stood in their place. So as it was being read, as we're about to read in verse 8, so they read in the book of the law of God distinctly, and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading. See, so as they like today, like we go precept upon precept and we break down what we're speaking or reading as we're speaking about it. Here, they would go into the law, they would read the law, and they would explain, okay, this is what is meant by this, and this is like a use case where this would make sense, or where you would do what. So the people understood the law. Verse 9, and Nehemiah, which is the Tirshatha, which means the governor, and Ezra, the priest, the scribe, and the Levites that taught the people, said unto all the people, this day is holy unto the Lord Yahweh your God. Mourn not, nor weep, for all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. Yeah, because they came to the realization, like, damn, we've been so far gone from this. We were supposed to be doing all of these things. We were supposed to be abstaining from all of these things. Damn. But as they were exhorted, right, not to do so, because this is a good day. Verse 10, then he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat, and drink the sweet, and send portions. And eat the fat does not mean literally go and eat fat. It means go and eat the best of what you have, and drink the sweet, enjoy yourself, basically. And send portions unto them of whom nothing is prepared. So those that don't have any, send some to them. For this day is holy unto the Lord. Neither be ye sorry, for the joy of the Lord Yahweh is your strength. So encourage yourselves in the joy of the Lord. Don't turn it into a day of mourning. So the Levites stilled all the people, saying, hold your peace, for the day is holy, neither be ye grieved. So stop those tears, stop that. Nope, none of that. And all the people went their way to eat and to drink and to send portions and to make great mirth, because they had understood the words that were declared unto them. And as it says in Baruch, the 4th chapter, to Israel, right? Happy are ye, for the things that are pleasing unto the Most High are made known unto you. Verse 13, and on the second day were gathered together the chief of the fathers of all the people, the priests and the Levites, unto Ezra the scribe, even to understand the words of the law. And they found written in the law which the Lord Yahweh had commanded by Moses, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month. And that's the feast of booths. Salakia, which is in the law, right? And so they found out, oh shoot, we were supposed to be keeping this, right? As they read here, it says here, verse 15, and that they should publish and proclaim in all their cities and in Jerusalem, saying, go forth unto the mount, and fetch olive branches, and pine branches, and myrtle branches, and palm branches, and branches of thick trees, to make booths, as it is written. So the people went forth and brought them, and made themselves booths, every one upon the roof of his house. And the roof of his house is actually, let me see, it's actually going into not necessarily like replacing your roof with branches and whatnot, but the roof of the house was like, today when you go to those certain like penthouses and they have like how do I say, like today you would have a balcony, right? But imagine the balcony being actually the top of your house, so you would have stairs from the side of the house where you could walk up, and the roof would be like an open area where you could sit and do whatnot. So some people built the booths right on top of their houses on the roof right there. Others in different areas, as we're about to read here. It says here, everyone upon the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of God. So in the courtyards, the temple, the courtyards of the temple, places where they had that space. And in the street of the water gate, and in the street of the gate of Ephraim. And all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths, and sat under the booths, for since the days of Jeshua the son of Nun, Jeshua here is Joshua, It's just spelled slightly different. On to that day had not the children of Israel done so. Now, what it means here, it doesn't mean that we didn't keep the Feast of Booths, right? Or I believe it's just Feast of Tabernacles. Let me see. Feast of Booths. Yeah, Feast of Tabernacles. It's not that Israelites didn't keep this since the time of Joshua up until now, but what it means is with the joy and the passion and how everybody was so into it they hadn't been like that since Joshua, right? So they hadn't actually kept it that way since the time of Joshua. And that's why it says here, and there was very great gladness, because now it was like, remember at the time of Joshua, the Lord was, we had then been conquering the land of Canaan, right? So we were taking over that land. It was a joyous time. And similarly in this time, we were being restored back after having been taken captives out of the land. So things were now going back to normal, so to speak. Verse 18, also day by day, from the first day on to the last day, he read in the book of the law of God, and they kept the feast 7 days. And on the 8th day was a solemn assembly according unto the manner, which is in the law. And that brings us to the end of the book of Nehemiah, the 8th chapter. So as you can see in here, Ezra and Nehemiah were contemporaries. And now at this point, the people are getting back in order after the wall has been built and so on and so forth. So Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodesh. Until next time, Shalom.